Backseat musicians. Yeah, funny. Speaking of pianists, I've started doing this thing every Friday on my Instagram where I find 4 tracks I've been thinking about and I do a little paragraph on them. Just because I want to be posting to my Instagram more, and I like to think about the music that I've been listening to for so long. Nice. Okay, so
I'll tell you how that sounds later.
okay, yeah. Oh, interesting. Can be our first track for the Dake EP. There we go. Exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. But like
Worldwide exclusive.
Worldwide exclusive.
Worldwide
Premier.
premiere. Sorry.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
it. It's all good. And I found this recording of Hancock, Brecker, and
Roy Hargrove.
and
Oh.
McFerrin doing Olio.
Oh, okay.
Crazy recording. McFerrin is a beast, man. And then after that, like I was listening before he came here. Actually, I was listening to Nothing Personal, by Brecker, one of his tunes. And like it's Brecker tunes. That's quite fast. Okay, but when you listen to the elements, it's like there's not much there actually in how the tune works. It's actually a bass line working against the swing. And then yeah, like, and I mean a slightly diatonic line, like nothing crazy. Like compared to how Brecker solos in that tune, like the melody is not like, oh, I'm trying to be hip. Like it's just like a throwaway melody, and it's called Nothing Personal. And the tune sounds like that, and it's really a lot of fun. And I think when you talk about intention, what's really great about the intention of a master is that a master can take very little and make a lot out of it. And I think that's why you find someone like Hancock, who doesn't often show a lot of chops, and why people love him, is that he's someone who really does take nothing and make a lot out of it. Like he's based on, like Watermelon Man. Like, bruh, what that guy does with Watermelon Man or Cantaloupe Island. Like people.
What period are you talking about now?
What period?
So what he does with it, you talking about like the original recording or more recently or mid-80s?
I mean,
Because he's been playing that for decades now.
yeah, no. I mean, to be honest, most of the times I hear him play it, man. He always does a lot with it. Like, and you find. I remember, like, it was like frowned upon to call that a jam session because it's too simple. But when Hancock calls that tune, you go, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing. It's the composer's intention with his tune.
You know what I find very interesting about that period of Hancock, the original recording? I remember going to go and find the record and CD, and I listened to it for the first time. And I was in first year, and listening to them go, how did this guy get famous? I was literally like, what is so special about this? I don't get it. You know, because I heard him playing with Miles first. Can't remember which album was Miles and Coltrane, and they were just touring at that stage, so it was just like a random live performance. Beautiful, like really, really nice playing. I remember doing one of his transcriptions with that group in Autumn Leaves, and it wasn't tricky, but it was not. It was really nice. Not simple though. And then checking out this, I was like, okay, so let me check out his roots. And he did this album. I was like, so how did he get to play with Miles? If he sounded like this, I was like, this is boring. I can do this. This is simple. I can solo over this song better than that right now. Whatever age I was. And like 7 years later or something, listening to it again and going. I think I was cooking and it came on the radio randomly. And I kind of rolled my eyes because that was my last impression of it, like that many years ago. Why are they playing this song? Because I had this impression of it forever. I've played the song myself, and I just thought that he was crap. Now he's good. He was crap then.
Yeah,
how do you get famous? Well, I'm not famous,
Yeah.
And but then he, like mature person now, many years later, goes, flip. This is genius. At that time when I was searching for that jazz sound, I was searching for like everything like burning, just like. I remember like getting different pianists' albums and being disappointed because they didn't play enough,
Mm.
And I was just quite one-track minded. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't come out right. Felt weird.
Mm.
But later on I go, wow, this is amazing. I think I've actually spoken about this before, but it's a different sort of connotation now. And it's very interesting you bring that up.
Yeah.
And he took a very simple solo, but it wasn't at the same time. It was really, really interesting.
Yeah, man. That's Hancock. Like, whenever I've heard Hancock, I've heard that in his playing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think, and those guys, and when you think about someone as, like, he's a fantastic solo artist, but when you think about someone like Miles trying to find a sideman, that's the guy you want, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's no competition. The guy who can make a lot out of nothing, who just sits there and will just do something beautiful with whatever you give him.
Yeah, his comping is so good. He's so out of the way.
You know what I'm saying?
He's so out of the way. Do you know there's another great pianist who played with Miles as well at that period?
Mm-hmm.
Wynton Kelly.
Okay.
Oh, man. Bluesy player. Daryl's favorite pianist.
Mm-hmm.
He says the pianists, if you just transcribe one of his solos, you'll have enough bebop to last your lifetime.
Mm.
He's exaggerating, obviously, but I mean, beautiful player, man. Simple, grooves really nicely, bluesy. He actually played on the So What album as well. What's it? Which one did he play? I can't get the names of the album. The bluesy one, like whatever the bluesy track on the album was, like free, not what?
Oh, Blue and Green, maybe?
No. It was like the more bluesy. It's Freddie Freeloader.
Oh, Freeloader.
I think so.
Okay.
Whatever. He did one of the tracks on the album.
Okay. Cool.
I remember Bull didn't do everything.
Yeah.
And I think the one piano solo on the album is him.
Oh, really?
I think Bull never takes. I can't. It's ages since.
Yeah, me too. But
if I understand correctly, like one of the solos on the album, the one solo, whatever it is, it's him, not Bull. But yeah, really nice player as well. Simple, nothing out of this world. But I mean, he is out of this world. But I mean, he doesn't do anything that 18-year-old me would have gone wow for.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And at the same time, you think about the players that Miles had chosen around that. I don't know if Paul Chambers was still with Miles when Hancock was there. But the fact that Paul Chambers was in that band tells you the kind of player he liked to work with. And that's why Hancock makes so much sense.
Or sort of. I think Miles didn't have a specific thing he liked to play with, because then Coltrane wouldn't have been there. Because Coltrane doesn't fit Paul Chambers or Hancock really well.
Yeah, but again,
you get what I'm saying?
But that's a horn. It's a different thing.
Not really, because Coltrane would often change the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be soloing and Miles would take this solo, and then Coltrane would take a different solo. He'd be exploring, he'd be searching. And he was cool with that.
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, but you don't, as a band leader, you don't rest upon your horn player. You rest upon your rhythm section.
Yeah.
I think that's why those decisions make a bit more sense to me. Just thinking about how I would build that band.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting, because it changed a lot. That one stage was McCoy Town. It was also like not the same as Herbie.
I mean, look, Miles clearly liked variety. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it depended,
no.
And who he put in the band decided how they were going to play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely.
That's what I mean. Like it wasn't. There wasn't a specific thing, and this is something that band leaders that I have learned to do now is that if you're used to playing with these people, someone else would come in and they wouldn't play the stuff right, in my opinion, especially when it was original music. I'd get like disturbed. I would be like upset about it, As opposed to learning. I remember I was playing with one of these older guys, and the band was changing, and I was in the band, and then the songs would completely be different, and he'd be like, "Oh, that's a nice take." He wouldn't tell you what to do. He'd go, "Here's the recordings," or like, "Here's the charts." Cool, let's start. And the songs would often end up quite different, just because of the different type of player that was available for the gig or whatever it was, and then and him just being like, oh, that was a nice take on that.
Mm.
You know, and just allowing whatever, like, just allowing whoever it was that that was playing with you now, to be themselves, and that would now inform how my song would then be interpreted.
Mm.
You know, and that's a great thing, which would that and Miles did that really well. That just okay, you're gonna bring you.
Mm.
I mean, he did. I remember the stories of him telling Herbie, like, I want you to play like this and I want you to play like that this times. But Herbie claims it to be Miles allowing him to grow, and not because Miles wanted it.
Yeah, no, like because it would be things like just use your right hand on this album, you know, like just try this and try that, like that's like a playful growth kind of thing, you know. It's not something going, no, you have to play it my way, you have to do, you know what I mean? That was his vibe. Yeah, no, the point I was making about Herbie and Paul is just that, like, when you're sitting there like 18 wondering how Herbie got in, like, I'm just sitting there going, yeah, like Paul and Herbie, like, you can see the kind of player he liked to have. You can see that was the kind of player he really enjoyed, because the band leader still has to choose the guy. You know what I mean? You still have to choose him, even if they bring different things. There's something you have to like about them to let them be themselves. So he would still be discerning the players he wanted. He wouldn't just book the random burning cats. He would book cats he actually wanted there.
No, sure. I mean, like, who's the one guy? Oh wait, McCoy never played with Miles.
Did he not?
McCoy is the only pianist that didn't play. Who's the other one I was thinking of now?
Okay.
That's funny. Hey, like, McCoy is like one of the only famous guys that never played with Miles.
Really?
Like, of that sort of era.
Okay, that shows my knowledge of the Miles bands that I agreed with you.
Never corrected me.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Even McCoy. Technique for years. But in that period of Miles, not appropriate, you would felt.